Hello, folks. It's Nuclear Skull 87, perhaps known by my real name, Luke Christopher Murphy, as well as my other nickname, Luke the Nuke. And in today's video, we're going to be doing Chapter 6 of my Call of Cthulhu walkthrough. And we are back at the Hawkins-Mansion. Pierce woke up in an asylum, installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him to escape, wandering through the corridors of this place where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme. Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders. Before dying in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decided to use the Hawkins-Mansion as a hideout. Oh, Cthulhu. A foreshadowing of things to come.
Who goes there?
Who goes there?
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
I finally reached the stairs that led to the first floor of the Riverside Institute. But on the way I inhaled some gas that was leaking from a damaged pipe, and I passed out. I remember Bradley. Alive? Really? Who was talking to me, and I came to in the Hawkins-Mansion. I must understand what I'm doing here and what happens next. Just thought I'd listen in on the conversation there.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Bradley.
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller. And a nurse. Blood everywhere. Legs. Pain. I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. Infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
I met a Francis Sanders. You know him.
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins, visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying.
It's no coincidence.
It's no coincidence.
know Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
So yeah, we've got to avoid not ending up in the hospital again. Maybe that's not meant to happen, but that's what he says anyway. Marie Colden, age 32, occupation doctor. Officer Bradley's female friend works as general practitioner at the Riverside Institute. She had figured out long before I arrived that Fuller was involved in illegal activities. She wants to shed full light on the nature of his experiments and believes that helping me to solve the Hawkins case could advance her own investigation. Charles Hawkins, age 41, occupation ship owner. Charles Hawkins is alive? Despite its crude and deformed appearance, this thing looked like Hawkins. He attacked Bradley after he recognized him. What could have happened to Charles on the night of the fire? I've never seen a major burns victim in such a state. Something's not right. Francis Sanders, age 47, occupation art dealer. Francis Sanders knew Sarah Hawkins so well that he accused her of being the source of his suffering. The man gouged out his eyes with his own hands and smeared the walls of his cell with esoteric symbols. He seemed to be obsessed with the Shambler, linked to Sarah Hawkins. He died before my eyes in circumstances that I cannot explain. Dr. Fuller, age 52, occupation Riverside senior physician. Dr. Fuller reigns as the undisputed master of the Riverside Institute and of its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall, when the tunnels under the Hawkins-Mansion caved in. This man is dangerous, and I'd swear that he knows more about all this business than he's willing to tell. Just listen to that music. Gosh, the music's beautiful, isn't it? Hawkins-Mansion on a beautiful sunny day, or morning in this case. Let's go here. Chapter 6, Sanders' Residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband. His ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, look who's here.
Interesting looking lady, Irene Sanders.
Each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why?
Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker.
Very well, Miss Baker.
This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. When you had the opportunity to talk to my husband.
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack?
What happened?
What happened?
He started raving, screaming that a dimensional shambler had found him.
Mercy, that story again. Why have him interned?
That was when he began to convulse and twist with pain. Or terror, it's hard to tell.
I beg your pardon?
Beg your
I'm
pardon?
not really sure of what I saw, or what I didn't see. But it's best that you weren't there.
I should have been there. What you're telling me is outrageous.
Outrageous.
I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me, his own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the Oh, this is Thomas Fuller. Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed a discharge, allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you. Thomas Fuller. That's relaxing music, if you ask me. Ah, look at that painting right there. Whoa, that's cool. Do you notice how it just moved? Oh my gosh, that was freaky. It looks like Irene Sanders.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
An audio recording that Francis Sanders left for his wife Irene. Let's see what cylinder has to say once it is inserted in a phonograph. We're going to do that right now.
Irene, I made a mistake. fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. Inside my head, I see him. Behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes. I can't take anymore. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Cursed family. Those accursed paintings, that accursed...
Cursed Sarah.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. Inside my head, I see him. Behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes. Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. Inside my head, I see him. Behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders. Wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Nice story. Bad lie. Learn how to dupe, Detective. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
It is a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Whoa. Interesting. Ah, a key. Key to the Sanders Gallery. I guess we needed to do that. Ah, this is an interesting room.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Oh, that's cool looking. Ancient Egyptian skull sphinx, it looks like. Oh, and a caveman type statue from the looks of it anyway. I'm not sure if that's what it is. Blessed Mary, demented Cthulhu version of a Blessed Mother statue. Interesting. Blessed Mother Mary, that is.
The
Mother
man
of Jesus.
transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
It's a big old bear of myriad sorts. I'm guessing a polar bear or something. That's what it looks like anyway. Now look at that skeletal statue. That's macabre and Geiger-esque. I don't know what that does. Maybe it's for the lighter or something. God only knows. Explore a little more of the gallery. Gosh, this is awesome. That's interesting. Cthulhu-esque lion. This is an awesome gallery. Wow. Okay, something worth mentioning is that'll be a place to hide when you meet the Shambler creature. I thought I would mention that. And we're going to go up here. Now, I haven't beaten this part yet, so I might not do it well right away. So just a heads up on that for you viewers and gamers watching this. Edward looks kind of funny there. You just have to admit, he could be an unintentionally funny character. Oh my gosh, he looks like something out of Stranger Things. But even worse. Or a Stranger Things creature crossed with something from John Carpenter's The Thing. The little Doom 3 thrown in for good measure. I get rattled too easily for my own good. Examine the Shambler.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Hopefully he won't be able to find me, but he might. Alright, awesome. This also for one of those you're gonna need to grab a knife. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do that.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Whoa, freaky. Ah, got me! Scary! We've seen that already. Examine the Shambler.
What the hell was that?
I'm easily terrified. Get in here. I am way too easily terrified for my own good. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna have to grab the weapon there.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Scary. Hopefully he doesn't know where I am. But it might. Oh no! Oh, I am Edward Pierce. Do you have to sneak up on it or something?
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Ah! Horror of hers, the horror of her. Sure, that won't work. It knows I'm there, of course.
What the hell was that?
Ah! Go away, you evil beast! Can't even run fast enough for my own good. Just barely got away. Oh my lord. Hopefully he won't know I'm there. It's awfully close. Make sure it goes away after a little bit.
Down. Did it? Maybe I can use this dagger.
Get in there, Edward, you idiot. Oh my gosh. Gotta get away as fast as I can. Come on. So like a little Schwarzenegger. Might have did something a little dumb. Hopefully not, but... Probably a bit dumb, admittedly, but... Let's see. The Shambler is a painting. Irene Sanders doesn't seem to know what she hates the most. Sarah Hawkins or her work. Fact remains that she accuses her of costing her husband's sanity. He apparently gouged his own eyes out under the influence of the painting. I must see it. The key to the gallery is probably in the office.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Oh, it's gonna get me! Oh no, it knows that I'm there!
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Ah! Go, 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 go! Where is it? Hopefully it's nowhere to be seen. How do I even take it out? The guys who made this game made sure Edward Pierce is a normal guy, just like you and me.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? That's an ugly thing, but I love it. Silent Hill set in the 1920s. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, maybe I can use this dagger. Well, folks, I believe that'll be the end of part 6 of my Call of Cthulhu walkthrough video, as well as the end of part 1 of my Shambler Fight. I'm going to do the Shambler part into 2 separate parts, because I'm going to have to look up on how you defeat him exactly. So, until next time, folks, see you later.